So today we're going to be talking about why you may be getting a timed out error in your programs and what you can do to solve those problems. So what I have here, just to describe my setup, I have a getting started kit with a Vint hub connected to the back, and that is connected to my computer with a USB cable. And then here I have a Java program. So this is a basic Java program that is trying to blink the red LED, which is this one right here, on my getting started kit. So when this is running successfully, we can see that the red LED is blinking on and off about once a second here. So there's a few reasons why you may be getting a timed out error. One of the easiest ones to debug is that you just simply don't have a device connected. So for example, if I were to unplug the USB cable here, meaning that I don't have any Phidgets connected to my machine, and I try to run this program again, we would expect to see a timed out error, which is exactly what happens. So we can see we have a timed out error, and this is saying no Phidgets were detected at all. So you can see the line here is line 16. So we get the timed out error on the open. So essentially the library is waiting for, it's trying to connect to the device for 1 second or 1,000 milliseconds. And then if it can't find it in that time, it'll throw an error, which is what we're seeing here. So that's the simplest kind of situation where you may be getting a timed out error, is that you just do not have the any Phidgets plugged in. So I'll plug this back in here. And we'll move on to the next reason why you may be getting that error. So sometimes what happens is that the device you're trying to connect to isn't connected, even though you do have some Phidgets connected. So for example, I have the getting started kit connected, but I don't have a temperature sensor, for example. So I have, for example, this is a temperature sensor that comes with all of your getting started kits. So if I were to have a program that is trying to open that sensor, so temperature sensor, we'll just call it temp. So if we try to open a temperature sensor that does not exist on our computer, we would expect to see a timed out error there as well. So we run the program. So now we see that we have no matching devices were found to open. So last time we said the error message said that there was no Phidgets at all. And this time we're seeing that there's no matching devices. So essentially it's saying there are Phidgets connected to your computer, but there is no matching device, which would be a temperature sensor. So that's another really common situation where you may be getting a timed out error. And that can happen sometimes when you're adding sensors and removing them from your code, and you just forget a line in there that's trying to open something. So moving on from there, another really common reason that you may be getting a timed out error is that you have multiple programs running at the same time. So in the base situation with Phidgets, you can only have one program that's accessing your Phidgets at a time. So to demonstrate this, I'll run this program here, and we'll get the LED blinking. So we know now that our program is running. And then what I'll do is I'll open another program, so identical program, just a version 2, that is also going to be tried out using the Phidgets connected to the getting started kit. And we'll run this. And we can see here we're getting a timed out error. So even though the device I'm trying to connect to actually does exist on the machine, I'm getting a timed out error because it's already in use by another program. So sometimes this is a little bit harder to debug because you may not be having you may not have a blinking LED. You may just be reading values from a temperature sensor. So it's not visually obvious, but it's really important to make sure that when you are running your programs, all other programs have already been have stopped. They're basically stopped, and nothing is accessing the Phidget. So some development environments, like this one here, like Eclipse, if you right click, you can get this terminate all, and this will allow you to basically shut down any program that is accessing your Phidget. But now that I've done that, we can see that if we run this, we can now have access again. So it's just important to make sure you're stopping your programs and you know which program has access at any given time to the Phidgets. So here we can see I can stop my program, and I can run it from a different program, and it's happy. So just make sure that you know what programs are running and what is accessing the Phidget. And this also includes things like Scratch and MakeCode. So if you do have a browser open that is accessing your Phidgets, you won't be able to run this program here. So one of the last reasons why you may be getting a timed out error is that you are making a mistake on your addressing. So this is what we can do is we'll copy this here, and we'll try to open the green LED. So we'll copy all this code here. We'll address the green LED, which is on port 4. So do that there, and then we will open it. And then what we'll do is we'll just use it here so that we can see our code is working. So now we will just have a program that is blinking both the red LED and the green LED, and we can see that here. So both LEDs are blinking, and the program is happy. So what can cause a timed out error sometimes is if you make a mistake with your addressing. So for example, here I've addressed the red LED to hub port 1, and if I accidentally, say I copied this code, and then I, just to make things faster, I went like that, but I forgot to change the hub port. What will happen if I run this is that the red LED will open on hub port 1 successfully, but then when it tries to open the green LED, hub port 1 is already in use, so we'll get a timed out error there. So if I run this here, we can see that we're getting this timed out error, and it's saying no matching devices were found to open. So of course the reason is because we've already opened a device on hub port 1, so it's not able to do that. So just be mindful of your addressing section. Sometimes if you're changing, you could have a temperature sensor and you're addressing the port and you change the port, that can cause your code to give the timed out error. But if you have any questions, if you have a different scenario than what we've described here, please leave a comment in the video and we'll help you out. But we hope that was helpful for you.